to be honest, probably no other location, I think, in this whole discussion of, where are women going to pray and the access issues, probably encapsulates the discussion more than this place here, right? Soho, I think what the full title is, Soho
Islamic Center
for Men.
For men.
Actually, it specifies it quite.
In brackets, yes.
Yeah, and I think that's how I found it. I thought it was called the Islamic Center of London, but obviously we are in Soho, and I guess it's just taking its name from the area, but it's specifying that it's men. And I've been praying here for years. You guys have tried to pray here, yeah, before. People have seen it, yeah, in this area before. I think most people, when they put in mosque into Google, when they're here trying to find a place to pray, this comes up as obviously the main one and the closest one. There's the other one is Good Street.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's the
which
next
is like
closest one.
what, 8 minutes, 7, 8,
About
9 minutes,
10 minutes walk
10
from
minutes
here.
walk. And then I think that then they're looking at changing rooms and other kind of friendly kind of places. But we can discuss that in a second. But what I really want to know is your own personal experiences in this masjid. Because to be fair, there are obviously going to be emotions are going to run high in this debate, especially if you're that woman who's been caught at that moment with only a few minutes left and you're told, you can't pray. And there'll be some people that'll be watching this, right, especially those who are not in London or whatever, be thinking that's outrageous, an actual mosque that won't let women to come in to pray. And there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. Why don't you tell me what you know from, or how you understand it? Because I know a bit more. And I want to actually kind of like, dig in to, how do we understand these debates? At what point do we go in hard? Do we not? Is it ever understandable? Is it not? Do we make excuses for people or not? What's your take on this?
So what's actually quite fascinating is, although it's a mosque for men, I've actually been able to pray here before.
Right, really, yeah.
So, like you say, you're in the
One
West
off
End.
though.
A couple of times actually,
Yeah.
2 separate occasions. I've been in the area and I've sort of thought, oh, this is a masjid, and I've come here. And I think I probably just looked really confused. So I think the brother kind of decided to make an exception and saw that I was in a tight spot.
Right.
But I think aside from that, I generally tend to avoid it because they have specifically said that it's for men, and I do know.
Right.
But they have been flexible with me in the past. So,
Right.
yeah.
So I mean, when you came first time and you were told you can't, what was your immediate reaction? And
I was disappointed actually.
Yeah.
I think it was more that, and I was thinking like, because I didn't know the area that well. So there is another masjid 10 minutes away, but I didn't know that then.
Right.
So I was thinking, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I think that probably because he saw how disappointed and confused I looked, and then he said, okay, well, you can come in.
So you're actually actively, even though you've prayed here a couple of times, got in, you're actively avoiding coming here to avoid disappointment, to avoid the normative situation, which is that I'm not allowed to pray. They're saying I'm not allowed to pray, and so I don't want to put myself to chance and to hope that a guy comes along that's going to be, easy on me or whatever.
Yes, and I think there isn't really a need to cause conflict over the matter like this. There are actually other spaces you can pray once you know the Western a bit well.
Yeah.
So I think that because at that time they were flexible with me, they explained it to me really nicely.
What did they say? And who was it?
I don't know who it was. I mean, you go to a masjid and it's just like a random brother. It's like just like sister is for men.
Right.
I think the interesting thing about this is ages ago, now when you search this mosque on Google, I think they've taken the extra step to put in brackets
For men only, yeah.
But historically, it would actually just say Soho Islamic Center.
I remember that. I never remember for men before.
So I think that now they've kind of moved forward a bit and tried to make it very clear to people when they come that this is an issue. And I kind of thought that, okay, it might make a difference on Jummah days where it's very full. So they might be trying to cater for the people with some obligatory to be there.
Yeah.
But I sort of came in the evenings on weekdays.
Yeah.
So it wasn't very busy.
Yeah.
So I think that the brother at the time just made an executive decision that, okay, I think there's multi-levels.
Yeah.
So,
And
you
when
could
he
pray
made
here.
the decision, he also tried to explain to it why it is that we don't normally. Is that what you mean, that he was nice?
So he didn't explain why.
Right.
He just had the manner that said, unfortunately, there isn't space for sisters in this masjid.
Yeah.
And then we didn't really have a conversation. I was just that, really?
Right.
I'm really stuck here. And then
Right.
he kind of, I think it was a very quiet time.
Yep.
And he thought, well, if she's on a different floor and maybe the brothers are praying on a different floor, maybe it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
I don't know whether he's actually an official of the masjid. Probably just someone that was a caretaker at the time and just thought, she looks like she's in a bind.
Right.
So we'll let her.
In fairness, you've had pretty kind of positive experiences. And, you know, obviously I know you're Mansoura, you're kind of easygoing, you know, whatever. I'm okay with that, all right? If people are polite and they're kind of, you know, making sense in what they say. And I do want to know if there's been a bit more crazy thing. You've got like yani, an experience that maybe someone different. What happened with you?
Yeah, so I was here about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was us.
First time?
First time.
Yeah.
I was stuck here.
No, knew before that there was a mosque here?
No. So
Right.
I just looked at the closest one.
Right. So you just went on Google like everybody does. Saw, oh,
This
sugar,
was-
there's a mosque here.
Yeah. Came here. It was the adhan had gone for Asr.
Right.
So the guys were coming in for Jama'ah.
Right.
But it was not full because I think it was a Friday. And
Right.
It was in summertime.
Right.
And they were like, you can't pray here.
Just like who? Like the people who are going in were like, oh, by the way, you can't pray
Yeah,
here.
you can't pray
And you
here.
just said, oh.
So I was like, okay, so where do I go? And outside, I came outside, and there were 3 guys walking here, and they're
Right.
from up north,
Right.
and they were like, with their accent, northern accent, say, "Oh my God, sister, where are you going to pray?" And they were more sort of facilitating and helpful, or trying to be helpful, even though they didn't know the area, than the guys here in the masjid.
Yeah.
And it was. So I ended up going around the corner into one of the shops, and this is the irony that this is a place of like the most, well, everything goes here, but you can't access the masjid.
Yeah.
You can go into any other place, and I'll be welcomed.
What did you do? What did you end up doing?
In one of the shops around the corner.
Yeah.
In the changing room.
Right. Which shop?
I can't remember.
Help a
which shop.
sister out, yeah. Yeah, I think
I think it was one of the fabric shops or something like that. So yeah.
Right. Right.
But
Okay,
yeah.
so let me play, like I said, devil's advocate, right? This masjid's been here for ages, 1967, right? Okay, and here's the thing. At that time, you can imagine just the number of women on the street, let alone, in the workplace, let alone tourists, blah, 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 negligible, if even, right? It was mainly for the Muslim men who are working, those who are in restaurants, etc. A couple of the Bengali uncles, independent from any other area, they set up a masjid. Great location, great decision, great purchase. I mean, how great it is for, I can say as a man, how much it comes good. And obviously, as we're going to be discussing later, and some of the discussions we had before as well, that for the men to pray everywhere is easy. There are a number of issues for women to consider. And for the people who know, or who don't know, sorry, I should say, that this is 4 levels, I think, or maybe 5, including the stairs. So if you have a look, have a look up there, basically, you go up the stairs and you got the first floor, and then it just keeps going up. But they're closed all the time. They're closed all the time because obviously it's a hassle, and it's not hordes of people. This is an in-out kind of place. The problem is that it's tiny. Even the floors are tiny. Even here is tiny. The main reason for the prohibition of women per se is because of the practicalities of it, the possibilities of it, as opposed to the one-off which you had. And the one-off that you had is clearly manageable. If you get a woman to swear, you're going to go in, you're going to come out, you ain't going to go to the bathroom, you're not going to soil yourself, you're not going to go make wudu, you're not going to prevent all the men cure people. That's their take. Their take on this is that with only one small door, everyone trying to get through at the same time, as if there's some massive rush, yeah, okay? But then we have a very small common area, okay? Islamically, that's a point, all right? But we can deal with that. Ladies first, men first, all right? The fact that there's only one single stairway for both the men and women to go to, and it does overflow, okay, that's a good point, and we need to think about that. There can be a system where women first go, and there could be. The big issue is definitely the bathroom. So with only one small bathroom in one wudu area open, so the women would never be able to make wudu there unless you've got like a guard situation going on. No, you can't come in, whatever. It's definitely not easy. It wasn't set up with that in mind, and I'm gutted. The fact that we couldn't, in all these years, come up with a solution here, but it isn't the end of the world.